There's been plenty of people who've been house poor throughout history. But right now it's an epidemic. I think there are more house poor people than ever. So let's go over what I mean by house poor if you're not familiar with the term. There's a lot of people who have houses and they struggle to pay them. They struggle to pay for them, to afford everything, to afford the upkeep. Because let me tell you, if you can pay the payment, but you can't afford to get it taken care of or afford the maintenance, you're still house poor. You're house poor. You might think you're not, but yes you are. So let's give a little backstory to how we even got here. There were always people who were house poor, but there was a time in society where houses were smaller, people did their own work on their house, like stuff like that, or that was just the common thing to do. You might build something on your house, it might be you and the homies, you know what I mean? You and your group of friends that would get together and build it and fix it or whatever. Well, that all changed, so we don't really do that anymore, right? And just as a society. Well, in about 06, yeah, it was about 06 when the housing market started to crash. And I know, cause that's when I was just getting into the, housing and, getting into my own. And I'm telling you, I seen houses that were bought in 2002 for $125,000, turn around and in 2006 were worth $250,000. I'm like, that turnaround was crazy. And I didn't understand why at the time. I didn't know about everything that was going on behind the scenes. But in 2008, everything came to a halt. So the housing market started to crash in 2006, but in 2008, the banks fell apart, and that's when it all went downhill. Now, how we got to this epidemic level of house poorness is that in about 2010, 2011, after when all the foreclosures started to happen, because so many people were underwater now on these mortgages, where it just wasn't even worth it to keep the house for a lot of people anymore. You had a $300,000 house that now is worth, $180,000 or something like that. It just, you can't move, you can't sell it, you can't do anything, you're just stuck, right? So you have people who were choosing foreclosure, who were choosing short sales, who were, but you also have people that were getting that had lost money, lost their jobs or whatever. It was just a whole crisis. So what you ended up having was, there were a lot of houses going to auction, short sale, foreclosure, all that. There's a lot of people though that went and bought houses for short sales. We talking about 3,000, 4,000 square foot houses, big houses, really nice houses that had just went under, and they were getting great deals for them. I mean, I think the biggest one I saw at the time was maybe a $600,000 or $700,000 house. It was something like that ended up being having a short sale, and the people got it for like $300,000. Something like that. It was like, that one was like 7,000 square feet, man. It was like 6 or 7 bedrooms, and it was almost brand new. So stuff was crazy. People were buying stuff like a fire sale. Problem is, a lot of people weren't taking into account the maintenance part. We always seem to forget about the maintenance part and the thing that houses aren't like a permanent structure that's just gonna be there forever just because you bought it. So now you had these people that bought this nice 3,500 square foot property, nice big 2-story with the brick in the front and everything. And they were like, ha ha, now let me go get this thing painted. I'm gonna go, let me call a painting company and see how much it's gonna cost to get it painted. And they got the shock of their life.
Oh, this is a big one. You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey.
Got the shock of their life, man, because now they were shocked to find out how much it's actually gonna cost, right? Or they called me. They called me because they had a leak or something happened or whatever, needed drywall repair, they had a leak, needed to get that fixed or whatever. So they called me. I show up, I give them a price. They're literally getting mad. Getting mad at me for the price because they didn't know how much this house actually gonna cost, the maintenance and everything involved with it. And it's the same thing now. A couple years ago, it happened again, where you had a bunch of people rushing out and buying all these houses up because the interest rates were going up, right? So people were like, man, we gotta get this while the interest rates are still like 3%. Let me rush out and get these houses. Same thing. I can't remember the guy's name right now. There's a channel called, I'll put it on the screen when it comes to mind, but it's a channel called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And, I've watched it a couple times or whatever. The guy's actually pretty entertaining. But one thing he always talked about, which used to make me mad, it was like, he'd be like, man, rental property, a lot of times it's cheaper to rent than it is to buy a house. Then he always use an example of like some rental property that costs like $2 million or something like that, and a house that costs 10. It's like, dude, I get your point, but you're really out of touch with what's going on in regular society. And I have to admit that he's kind of right in certain circumstances, right? I mean, and it's really because of the maintenance. It comes down to when you buy a house, you just don't realize how many things that you have to pay for. And if you can't pay for it, then I see so many people's houses just falling apart. So I say, hey, you got two options. If you can't afford me, and just between me and y'all, like, if you got a lot of money, or you got a bunch of money just sitting around, you don't know what to do with, don't listen to nothing I'm saying, man. Just go ahead and call me to get your work done. Don't even think about it. Just go. Just
don't think, just go.
Get it done. I'm gonna give y'all some examples on some of the different things that could go wrong with your house, right? It's all the things that just add up that you don't think about, right? Hold on. I know what you're thinking. You're like, hold on, man. Ain't you a handyman? How does it help you to go out and tell people to just learn how to fix their own stuff? How does it help you? Like, how does it help you? Well, let me be honest with you. One, because you're not my customers, right? And I'm not doing this, and I'm not saying this in a disparaging way. This is just reality. You are house poor. You can't afford to get any work done. You're not my customer because you can't afford the services. So what happens is you call me, you waste my time and your time because you want me to come out to do an estimate, and all you're gonna do is get the price and talk to your friends about how ridiculous the price was for the repair. That's all that's gonna happen, and I just wasted my time going out. So I'm just gonna save all of us some time and tell you need to learn how to fix some of this stuff yourself, because that's what I did, right? One reason I started the business is I was fixing up a house to sell, right? I had to do everything. I had to do hardwood floors, tile floors, like all kind of stuff I had to do in the house, right? But the impetus behind me getting those things going, doing all those projects, was I went to get a quote on just the tile. Just the tile. I got a quote, and at that time, I was just the same way. I had no idea how much this stuff really costs, like how much getting work done costs. And of course, I'm on the other end now. I not only have an idea how much it costs, I understand why it costs the way it costs. But at the time, I didn't know how much it cost. So when I got that quote for the tile, I think it was just to do the kitchen area. We had a big dining area, and just to tile this area was like $10,000. It was something crazy. And I started crunching numbers. I was like, man, for the amount it's gonna cost me to do this floor, I could buy all the tools, do this floor, do all the bathrooms, tile, do the hardwoods in the living room and up the stairs and upstairs the hall. I could do all the projects for the same amount of money if I do it myself. Now, and I did that. I would go to work, come home, and so I understand what it's like. So I'm not just talking to say like you can't afford it in a disparaging way. I'm saying because you can't. Your money's gonna be better spent on something else or for the emergency projects. But you got the little stuff, you cannot afford to call me. And I can't afford to waste my time going to your house knowing that you're not gonna get the work done. Let me do something real quick. Let me give you a list, just so you can get an understanding of all the things that could possibly go wrong with your house. Now, this ain't all the things. Let me back that up. This is not all the things. This is a 9-year period. A lot of the things that I had to fix in a house, and there's probably things I'm leaving off. And this is all things I did myself, right? So let's go. I don't know how many times I had to fix a clog, whether it was cleaning out the trap underneath or snaking the drain. I've had to fix many, right? So just think, my kitchen sink, I've had to snake that thing like 3 or 4 times. I even had one time, and I love you, I'm not gonna give your name out, that one of my daughters was washing the dishes. And there was a pot of oatmeal, man, a pot of oatmeal about this big. She, for some reason, I can't even say for some reason, we had a garbage disposal. So, hey, in the mind of a teenager, you like, pour this thing down the garbage disposal. Man, I don't know. She got it down the drain, down the garbage disposal, down the drain. But it was so much oatmeal, it got somewhere down the line and just gunked up. And it took me forever. I thought I was gonna have to crawl under the house and like cut the lines or something, or do something wild. Those are the repairs you're gonna have to do because kids just do stuff. They just be doing stuff, busy, just stuff for no reason. All right, I've had to replace ceiling fans, at least 2 that I've had to replace. And I need to replace some ceiling fans right now. I've had leaks. Oh goodness, leaks everywhere. I had the tub leak from upstairs where I had to, so upstairs, not in the crawl space, so it's leaking through the living room. The water's dripping down. I had to cut the ceiling open, fix the drain to the tub, seal the ceiling back up. I've had like at least 3 repairs like that where it leaked through the ceiling from upstairs downstairs. At least 3. I've had stop valves leaking. I've had the pan, like the pan from the air conditioner leaking out from upstairs where there was a clog in the drain line. I've had to fix the fireplace. We got a gas fireplace where I've had to the switch and the inducer. What's it called? The ignition module. I've had to replace that. And that's a lot of just me looking at schematics, figuring stuff out, taking my little multimeter and figuring things out to what the problem was. But these are all just things, man. I'm talking about thousands and thousands of dollars in repairs. Even my furnace, I had to, an inducer blower motor? I think that's what it's called. I've had to replace that. Appliances, I've had to pull my dryer apart. I've replaced so many. I've had to replace dishwasher and replace the microwave, but I did all the installations. All the drywall repair that comes along with it, and the painting. And then garage door tension springs, fixing doors and stuff like that. Dude, it's just, that doesn't even count the outdoor maintenance, like pressure washing and landscaping and things of that nature. I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars that I was able to not have to pay to somebody else. Tens of thousands, one day maybe I'll sit down and calculate it just so we can have a number to play with. But we're talking tens of thousands of dollars when a lot of times you can learn how to do this stuff. Once again, if you're not house poor, I'm not talking to you, okay? So, you call me for all your home repair, home installations. You call me for all that. I'm gonna tell y'all, man, I have a huge pet peeve, and I know it's not just me. I can't stand when I go to somebody's house, and yeah, you might be house poor. You might, struggle or whatever, and things are just tough for you. Things are a little tough for you. That does not mean that you have to turn your house into a dump. I can't stand that. That's like the worst. I come to the house, I'll pull up to a house, and and I know what you're thinking. You think I'm talking about going to the hood and whatever. I'm not even talking about that, even though that ain't no different. I'm talking about anywhere you go. I'll pull up to a house will be worth $350,000, $400,000. Looks decent from the road. I can see that, hey, man, it needs some pressure washing, and the bushes are a little, scary. You know what I'm saying? A little spooky. And then you walk up, and it's like, once you start getting closer, you're like, oh my goodness. I mean, all the paint and everything, the trim around the door and the brick mold, everything's all chipped off and it's rotted at the bottoms, all everywhere, wood rot, and it's just a total mess. And then you walk in the house and there's just stains all over and water stains, and it's just, you don't have to live like that. It's not, you know what I mean? If somebody's old, if you're old and you just can't do it, I understand. But you don't have to have your house be a dump, okay? Just because you don't have much money. And if you don't believe that, go to any hood. You can go to any hood that you want to. You're gonna find some very nice houses, very well kept, very clean property with nice grass and everything.
Look, fellas, I asked you nicely. Well, now I'm getting very irritated. For the last time, would you please stay off my friggin' grass? Please!
Everything right in the middle of the hood. And it's because they just care. They just care. You ain't got to do all that, what they doing, but you don't have to do the other. You just don't have to. It's unnecessary. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Totally unnecessary. All right, so some of the things you're gonna wanna get familiar with. This is like, I think what people have the most issues with on a small scale, and these are small scale jobs. You're not gonna wanna start getting into massive jobs unless you think you got the skills, and that's on you. Whatever you wanna do, you do. It's your house. But The stuff that I suggest that you learn how to do, it's like small plumbing, say small plumbing jobs. Like snake in the drain, get you a snake, boom. Get yourself familiar with one of these. It's great on doing small things in bathrooms and kitchens and just small repairs, whatever. So get familiar with how to work a drain snake. What else? Little leaks and stuff, like say a stop valve. Get familiar with shark bites, right? Okay, so this is CPVC. This is PEX, right? Now, either one, this is the greatest thing about shark bites, is either one. Say your stop valve goes bad, or your stop valve is leaking under your sink. You go to turn the water off, and it's leaking right from there. Well, if you have a stop valve like this, that's a shark bite, it'll fit right in here. So this says CPVC, it'll fit right in here like this, and then you gotta push it all the way in. Same with this. This PEX line will do the same thing. Go right in there, you push it all the way in. The biggest issue people have with shark bites is a lot of times is they don't push them in all the way, so it doesn't lock all the way. So that's the biggest thing. And to know how far to push it in, you just get you one of these little tools, man. It's real cheap. And then you just go with the size of the material, whether it's PEX or CPVC or copper, whatever you have. You find the corresponding hole, push this as far as it can go, and draw you a little line on here. So you see where that line is? And you'll push this all the way in until it gets to that line. And then you know it's secure. You know you put it on properly. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Push to connect, right? And look, I know I hear a lot of things online. It seems like it's only on YouTube though about shark bites, right? I don't understand the hate. I do understand the hate. But so many people act like, oh, shark bites, man, there should be houses flooded across America because of shark bites. And I'm like, yeah, they might fail from time to time, but if they failed as much as people act like they fail online, man, they'd have lawsuits everywhere. But that's not the case, is it? What I noticed was that there was barely any shark bites in the store. Then it was more shark bites in the store. Then I started having trouble finding the stop valves that would connect directly to PVC, like CPVC. I started having trouble finding those. And they was like, oh, we have shark bites. Shark bites are like taking over. And y'all telling me that they're the worst thing ever. Maybe, but in the real world, I'm gonna start doing that, man. When I go in these houses that, sometimes I go and after plumbers to fix something, or they might be doing a whole different job. And I just noticed the job that the plumbers did, that they use shark bites everywhere. Cast iron and copper and everything else. Shark bites all over the place. Go into a basement, I see shark bite connections all over the place. But I get on YouTube and people tell me about how trash it is. I don't know, man. But get familiar with the shark bites because they're gonna be your best friend if you're having leaks or anything like that. And even sometimes you can solve a clogged sink issue with a plunger. Now, don't be nasty. Don't be disgusting and use the same plunger for your toilet and use it for your kitchen sink. Because that would just be foul, okay? Not that. Get you a plunger specifically for sinks. And sometimes that'll work for you. But whatever it is, just try it. Little electrical jobs like just, changing an outlet or a light fixture or something like that. The majority of the time, very simple job to do. Just usually a couple wires involved. Just remember, like I said, if you go to do a light fixture, take a picture. Take a picture of what you starting with, and that's what you should end with. But if you take off that light fixture and look in that box, and there's a wire nest in there and a big ball of just wires everywhere, then here's my suggestion. Take that light fixture and put it back up there, and then put the screws back in, and just go wash your hands and start your day over. You know what I mean? Just move on to something else. That might not be your thing. So other little things like painting, there's a lot of things that you can paint yourself. Paint your room, paint your bathroom. You can do that. You can learn how to paint. And you take your time, you can learn how to paint it very well. Use some tape. There's some products that they have that'll help you get straight lines and stuff like that. I don't believe in the little pads and stuff that'll give you a line on the ceiling. You just gotta, you just gonna have to learn how to cut in. But it's good practice for you to learn how to do those type of things. Caulking. People can save a lot of money if they learn how to caulk properly and use the right type of caulk in the right situation. The biggest things you need to know, the difference between latex caulk and silicone. Like you use 100% silicone caulk, there's only certain circumstances where you're gonna need that. You know, it's good, it's great to use because it's like waterproof, it's 100%, it's impenetrable when it comes to moisture. But it is hard to put silicone caulk on and make it look good. It's hard to do it without making a total mess and having things look like a total disaster. And if you're outside, you might not care as much. But if you're inside, you want to learn how to apply caulk. One thing I say is instead of trying to be cute with it, get you one of these. I used to use these all the time. These little tools to spread the caulk out. It has another end that's supposed to like scrape old caulk. I don't know. I never had really much success with this thing. But I used to use this, and it has different. These corners are different sizes, so you can pop this thing off and turn it around to whatever corner is gonna fit what you need for the caulk, right? I used to use these all the time. I had a stack of them. I still do. Then I started using these little things, whatever. And there's different brands that sell them, But see, had different sides, and each side is a different curve. One card larger. The radius of the curve is larger. And these things are great, man. These things are glorious. Now, if you use a silicone, you're still gonna make a mess. Even if you just have one of these, it's not gonna save your life. Latex caulk, these will work really good. Silicone caulk, you still need some extra help. New silicone caulk will not stick to old silicone caulk. Because that's another thing I see people do where they go to recaulk something and they just caulk over top of what was there. And they do it again and again and again. And they're like, why is it still leaking? It's because you're not getting the protection that you think you're getting, and you're just making more and more of a mess. Those are the big things when it comes to caulk. Now, you also have drywall. I'm a big proponent of learning how to fix especially small areas of drywall. You make a little doorknob hole or something like that. You can fix that yourself. I got a whole video about it. I'll link it at the end of this video. But it's about fixing small holes in drywall, and something I think anybody can learn how to do. It doesn't take a whole lot of tools to do it, and it's very forgiving. You put too much mud on, you can sand it, but if you just have patience, I promise you can get it. So there it is, and there you have it. So as an honorary member of the former house poor community, what's my advice to you? Is pick up some tools and fix something. I mean, this is a handyman channel. Come on. I know you didn't think it was gonna be something much different than that, but do it, man. Pick up some tools, learn how to fix something, get some confidence in yourself. And also, if there are things that you want to know that you might have questions on or whatever, let me know. I'll be doing lives in the future, do Q&As, and just give me a list of either questions or maybe videos that you want me to put out. I got a lot of ideas already, things coming, but I have ways to add in, little fixes and little things of that nature to videos. So if you really want to know something, just let me know. And we can help our community out. And you can also stop calling me to come to your house, so you can just be disappointed and think I'm trying to get over on you with my estimate. Stop doing that. All right? I'm just trying to run a business here. Just because you don't know how much it costs doesn't mean that I'm trying to rip you off. Just how it goes, man, But I'm here for you. Daryl, also known as the finisher. Stay safe, be blessed, and remember, if the trades don't work, nothing else does.